Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Here we are. It is the beginning of the week. We went through a weekend of stupid. We got stupid starting off. You know, I just hate to call it stupid, though, right? They're too dumb to know they're dumb. What is this? Criminal ignorance? Well, it really is criminal. And some amazing bits of news came my way today, and I published them to because they were YouTube videos. I put them as posts to YouTube. I believe Jolene has them over on Patreon as well. But I want to welcome you back, folks. We've got some really big stuff going on. The narrative that the mainstream media, that big tech, that the politicians and bureaucrats want, it is just unraveling. It is unraveling. It is becoming so transparent, so thin, right, that you can see through it. I mean, for example, let's start with this. Right? Let's go Brandon dumbass, who claims to be the president of the United States. I need to keep this close at hand. I've got a special message. Hang on one second, folks. Okay. There it is. I got that. Thank you, Sergeant Major. Okay. Folks, the President of the United States, it basically condemned Kyle Rittenhouse and called him a white supremacist, right? You can do that. And then when referring to the grown adult that decided to run over people in a parade, he says, quote, "We don't have all the facts and details yet." Running cover for him. What is the point? What is that? I mean, what that just shows me and you what a bunch of scum these people are, right? Darrell Brooks is a killer. He's being charged with 5 counts of homicide. And boy, have I got some stuff to tell you what the leftists are saying about this. It is unbelievable, folks. I waited all day, just kind of sat back and said, okay, let's wait for the stupid to come. And man, is it coming, right? The president of the United States can condemn Kyle Rittenhouse and then say, we don't have all the facts and details yet. Don't say anything. The mainstream media has tried saying that this guy that ran over people, folks, killed 5 people, hit children, old women, everyone. Darrell Brooks, this guy. He says, oh, well, we don't have all the facts. The media tried saying, oh, he was running from a knife fight. No, he wasn't running. He was driving an SUV. But they're too dumb to know they're dumb. Sadly, and to our great misfortune as Americans, the political leftists, the Democrats who are social fascists, social Marxists, they buy all this shit up. They buy everything their leadership says. Oh, except for Jimmy Dore, a screaming communist. But he sees, because he's actually, I think, he's a comedian and a commentator on YouTube, Jimmy Dore. Right, Jimmy Dore, D-O-R-E. It's actually kind of funny. I think he was a comedian at one time, but he doesn't make any bones. He wants communism. So what he's seeing, and so he criticizes the administration and the Democrats in Washington, D.C., is he is seeing fascism. He calls it what it is. It's amazing. It's like, incredible. This guy is such an honest commie. Thank you for that. That he's criticizing the fascism coming out of D.C. These people are so stupid. The American idiots that support them don't even realize, you know, that they're being told to hate fascism while fascism runs their lives. I mean, stupid. It knows no bounds, it knows no limits, and it causes incredibly destructive damage. Remember that the hate hoaxer, the idiot from NASCAR, Bubba Wallace? Well, he had a comment, folks, and I know his commentary really has no place in reality. But I thought, to be complete, it's not just the politicians. It's not just the mainstream media. It's not just big tech. You go down the list and you go further down the food chain for celebrity, get to sports people. Yeah. Bubba Wallace wants to comment on the Rittenhouse verdict, right? Now, what are we supposed to say about this? This fucking clown can't tell the difference between a rope pull on a garage door and a noose. Remember when he was confronted with that? Dude, that's a rope pull. He's like, that's a straight up noose. Does he know what a straight up is? Anything? And anyways, he thinks his commentary matters. It doesn't. Except I will use it to illustrate exactly how dumb their dumb is. Bubba Wallace is a dumbass. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, he's the BLM driver in NASCAR. And NASCAR loves to get behind this guy, so they can show how woke they are. It's just, it really is incredible. It really is incredible what is going on in this country. Are you prepared, folks? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense? Because these people, they're not just pretending to be this dumb, this stupid, this ignorant. They really are. They really are. Let me tell you what this clown said, right? This is what Bubba Wallace says about Kyle Rittenhouse. Ha! Let the boy be black and it would have been life. Hell, he would have had his life taken before the bullshit trial. Sad. You see, he doesn't even talk about the facts of the case, maybe some circumstances surrounding it. He goes right to the race card. Like a loathsome creep, right? Let the boy be black and it would have been life. He makes that presumption, folks, and there's no way to disprove it, and there's no way to prove it. It's just pure pandering and racist crap coming from Bubba Wallace. He said, hell, his life would have been taken before the bullshit trial. So he's already presuming that if a black young man had used a rifle in self-defense from 3 people, be they black or white, threatening his life and trying to kill him, that instantly, right, he either would have gotten life in jail, the trial would have been bullshit, or the cops would have killed him. And he says, sad. Right? Yeah. What is sad, Bubba, is what a moron you are. And I'm glad nobody takes Bubba Wallace serious. Except I want to say, folks, this is how the leftists really think. I'll go a little further with you. Right? I'm a reasonable man. I like to think. Right? Brother Roger, he's a little stiff. He gets a little upset. Brother Jim, he's kind of a humor guy. We're all pretty close, though, when it comes to thinking. And you guys are pretty close to me in our way of thinking. We all have a little bit different bent on things. Right? The Kyle Rittenhouse shooting was not about race. I don't know why Bubba Wallace had to make it about race. But most of the Democrats are making it about race. It was a white young man running for his life, literally. I love the meme that came out today. It was the prosecutor from the case saying, if you watch the footage backwards, you can clearly see Kyle Rittenhouse chasing the 3 men he shot. Right? It's unbelievable. So here, I'm going to give you more example. The Illinois County Democrat Party official has resigned because she called the parade massacre, the man that ran over 5 people, injured 30 or so, up in Waukesha, Wisconsin, right? She says it's karma for the Rittenhouse acquittal. Excuse me, karma? That's karma? Karma will do that. So it's karma for those people because those people that he ran over, the 5 that he killed, and all the others that he seriously injured, they were all secretly supporting Kyle Rittenhouse with money. And so karma came and got them. No, I think it was the bad guy in a fit of stupidity, ignorance, and hatred I think he's the one that did it. But no, this lady that's in Illinois, Mary Lemansky, said in a tweet, it was probably just self-defense. There you go. Yeah. Unbelievable. She went on to write this. It's someone who responded to her thing. Emily Grace wrote, "Karma doesn't hit random people." So Mary Leminsky responds with, "The blood of Kyle Rittenhouse's victims is on the hands of Wisconsin citizens, even the children." What? That is how ignorant they are, folks. That is how much hatred they have. That is how willing they are to see innocent people killed. They didn't get their way and have the Second Amendment destroyed. And so let's make an excuse for a murderous thug, who, by the way, is a convicted criminal. The one who ran over the 5 people. Oh, yeah. It wasn't his first rodeo, folks. Kills 5 people, injures dozens more. So someone named RBE responds to Mary Lemansky, the Illinois Democrat official. Of course, she's resigned now because she got caught. He says, "You're a scumbag." And she writes back, "You reap what you sow. It's sad people die, but when you open a door to vigilante justice, everyone seems threatening." So now everyone seems threatening. So a parade of the dancing grannies and all of the moms with their children on Sunday were somehow threatening. I guess this guy, whatever the fuck his name is, because I'm not going to memorize it, not like St. George Floyd. Got to memorize that guy's name. You know, this guy is threatened by the fact that grandmothers are in a parade, a permitted, legal, holiday festive parade. And he was threatened by it. A bunch of old dancing white women. Here's what she writes. Now, this is fucking great. She got a bunch of shit from people, folks. And she wonders, this is incredible. Cancel culture. She's pissed that she has been canceled, that she's been put on the spot. Here's what she said. "Nobody cared about me my whole life." Sounds like you had a pretty important job with the Democrat political party in Illinois. But she whines and plays the victim card. "Nobody cared about me my whole life. My mom used to leave me for hours at a time alone in my playpen. I've put out music for 20 years. Nobody gives a shit." It's probably because you're not a great musician. Not making fun of you, but if you're not good, people don't want to hear it. And then she writes, "Why do people all of a sudden care about a stupid remark?" Welcome to cancel culture. Welcome to what you have reaped and sown. I've said lots of stupid shit. I've said lots of smart shit. We've all done it. Who cares? But you get canceled now for it. And she doesn't like that. She says, "Why do people all of a sudden care about a stupid remark? I can't believe my 15 minutes of fame is for this shit." Right. Speth says, "Karma turns around quickly." And she says, "Yeah, this is my payback from the dark side for helping Democrats win elections." Whoa. Maybe. Now, the Democrat Party said, "Fuck you." They threw her under the bus, right? Threw her under the bus. "We don't want you. You're bad news," right? "Everyone's criticizing you. Get the fuck out," right? And she's like, "Yeah, this is my payback from the Democrats, the dark side, for helping the Democrats win elections." She calls her own side the dark side. Unbelievable. Folks, they're too dumb to know they're dumb. But they're also incredibly powerful, running the media, running big tech, running the military, running Washington, D.C., the White House. I tell you, they've got power, folks, and they're scary. It's coming. She wanted to be smart ass, folks. She wanted to play the card. She wanted to virtue signal to all of her leftist, liberal, idiot friends. Now, let me switch gears a little bit with you folks. Shit has hit the fan. We know that. Things are getting nasty out there. We know that. We're seeing major inflation. We know that. We're seeing problems with fuel and higher fuel prices. We know that. We're hearing threats. There's going to be food shortages. We know that. We're hearing a lot of rustling about more lockdowns coming, about big breakouts. Oh no, all around the world. We're getting lie after lie after lie, folks. And the dumb people are too dumb to know it. So this comes along. A local Florida news station claims that, quote, a large amount of Northwest Floridians oppose Representative Matt Gaetz's comment regarding hiring Rittenhouse. But 84% agree with Gaetz. How is that possible, folks? It's because they expect people that watch television to be stupid. And so they're too dumb to know they're still being lied to even more, right? Local mainstream media, folks, conducts a poll, magically discovers the entire nation, well, at least Northwest Florida, discovers they discover that they hate the Second Amendment, justice for Kyle, apple pie, and the American dream, right? So the mainstream media, they are so dumb. They don't even know how dumb they sound. If everyone is supporting, right, Matt Gaetz's policies and he comes up with this joke, and hopefully it comes true, folks, because Kyle Rittenhouse, as we pointed out, got on a plane for Florida from Chicago, where one of our Prepared Mind network agents reported seeing him. Yeah, he did land in Florida. Maybe he is here to interview as an intern. Oh, he's a busy kid. He's got lots of energy. He's going to be busy suing the ever-loving shit out of CNN, Joe Biden, and others for libel and slander in the mainstream media, because they aren't satire. I am all about the satire. I'm all about being sardonic. I'm all about being a smartass, making facetious statements. That's me. But they offer themselves up as news and fact. They're going to get their asses suit off. And I do think it would be funny as hell to see Kyle Rittenhouse walking the halls of Congress, snubbing his nose at all of them. Basically, let's go, Brandon. They're still pushing their narrative, folks. The mainstream media is so stupid. They expect everyone, not me, I guess, not you, but their idiot viewers to continue to believe their shit. That the large amount of Northwest Floridians oppose Matt Gaetz's comment regarding hiring Rittenhouse. That's stupid, right? And Kyle did say this thing about BLM, and I want to talk about this. He said he supports BLM. When I read the actual literal quote, it sounded like he said he supports their right to protest. That's what it sounded like he was supporting, is their right to free speech. Not necessarily saying he agrees with the tenets of Marxism. Still, we're going to find out more about the kid in the future. But mainstream media keeps spewing your lies, keeps spouting them off. Right. Keep it up, ABC. ABC, who said authorities believe the Christmas parade killer, that's what he's being called, has, quote, no connection to radicalism and extremism. Oh, really? Really? For no apparent reason. Well, no, he was supposed to be running from a knife fight. Really? That's what was going on. But how can you run into a crowd of people with an SUV and keep going and hit more people and keep going and hit more people and keep going and going and hitting more people and not be a radical or not be an extremist? Evidence is coming out. This guy is exactly that. Now, I'm going to go the other way. Let's go to the other coast, folks, all the way over to California, the West Coast. That's right, my old stomping grounds, the Sacramento Bee. Folks, the Sacramento Bee is a newspaper that is not good enough to wipe your ass with. I wouldn't, right? It is now painting mothers, It's painting moms who want schools fixed so that they educate. It is moms who want safety for their whole families, including their little crumb crunchers. The Sacramento Bee is saying moms, right, who want the Constitution respected. It wants to attack them. right? They're starting to they want to call moms, California, far right extremists. Unbelievable, folks. Well, guess what? Sacramento Bee, mainstream media, and Democrats everywhere. You poked the bear. You kept poking it. Now the mama bear. All the mama bears are awake and they're pissed because their cubs are being hurt with masks, lockdown, and lies. Not to mention critical race theory and an LGB, shall we call it an agenda that just appears to be running with no rules, off the leash. So this is from the Bee. Quote, they represent anti-vaccine coalitions, constitutionalists, and doomsday preppers. That's the moms. Moms represent anti-vaccine coalitions, constitutionalists, and doomsday preppers. They include the gun-toting Mama-litia and the Central Valley Liberty Bells, a group of, quote, strong, beautiful, and patriotic women who shows loyalty and pride to our sorority and country, according to a private Instagram account. Yeah, it sounds right that they're strong, beautiful, and patriotic women, right? So the mainstream media, the Sacramento Bee, to get ahead of the public perception of them and paint them as evil witches dressed as wholesome mothers, right? The Bee, Sacramento Bee, and other media will attack, lie, beseech, and ruin individuals and groups, folks. That's what they do. They can't afford to combat mothers who have taken action. And that's right, folks. Prep to action. Okay, they want to call them doomsday preppers. How about they're preppers? They want to paint them as evil witches, right? So basically, fuck you, Bee, right? Preppers, the Mama-litia. Militia, yeah, strong, beautiful, constitutional women are far, far better and worth being in a relationship compared to the prune-dried, bitchy feminist, anti-penis commie hags. I guess that's who we're supposed to really look up to. You know, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was definitely a prune-dried, bitchy feminist, commie hag in my book. Just a little satire for you. You know, that's my opinion. Everyone wants to have an opinion. And only the opinion of the left is to be accepted. So the Bee now, and I've told you guys about Northern California, as soon as you go just north of Sacramento, it becomes very conservative. As soon as you head up into the hills, the foothills, it can become a bit conservative outside of Sacramento. Most of the state, with the exception of Sacramento, the San Francisco Bay Area, and Los Angeles Basin, it's a very red state. And the moms have had enough of this, and the schools are attacking. So they use the mainstream media. The schools complain, we're being harassed. So they call the National School Board Association, who calls Biden, who calls Merrick Garland, who calls the FBI, who then look at parents and call them domestic terrorists. So they don't like it, folks, when women take strong leadership roles in their children's lives. They're not running for president. They're trying to run for control of their children's lives and education. That's exactly what they think of you and me, folks. They don't like it. Shut up and go away is how they think of us. How do you think of them? Right? And I could go on all day. As you guys know, Monday, when I come back from a weekend, I could take the whole show up, Jolene, and make sure I don't go too long. Right? Now, finally, folks, damn right, and finally, a United Kingdom, that means British, English, a British news agency, an English news agency is talking about government Nuremberg Code violations. Folks, there is a difference between consent and coercion. I cannot talk about this anymore, but just understand that people are waking up. And it's being talked about by a UK news agency now. Hopefully it gets some traction. There is a big difference, folks, between informed consent and coercion. Coercion, right? Now, they are too dumb to know they're dumb, folks. And mainstream media hysteria and racism is off the hook. Let's go back. I can't cover this stuff enough. CNN, the most trusted name in news. CNN, who's been around for decades. CNN, who has 1/10 the audience of Joe Rogan. CNN, who nobody believes, even their own viewers. CNN publishes an op-ed, an opinion, an editorial. It says, quote, "There is nothing more frightening than an angry white man." Wow, that's interesting. Is that why that dude ran over, what, 30-something people, killed 5 of them with his SUV? Oh, wait, he wasn't an angry white man. Unbelievable. Now, this is very important. In Australia, that's the land down under, the army, the military, is now beginning to be used by their government. Is the military of Australia that stupid? Or are the people who have government jobs in Australia that blind and that stupid to not realize that they too will be sacrificed and removed? The army down there has begun transferring cerveza bug positive people into quarantine camps. Folks, how does this work? How did Germany get from being Germany to the Nazi nightmare? How did it go from German people, hardworking, industrious people, to let's take Jews, gypsies, and other undesirables, deplorables. Let's take them and put them in concentration camps for their own good, for the good of the country, right? So how did they do that? Well, first you have to decide who is and who is not desirable. So they find a way to do this through testing. Well, for the Jews, they tested them by their race. Today, they test you with mandatory testing, right? To see if you have cerveza bug. Wow. And if you're on their list for people that oppose the vaccine, right? That's how it works. Well, you're infected, right? You're infected. So the armed with weapons, good guys, take you to a convenient camp for the safety of the public, just like the Jews were equated to rats, deplorables, less than human, and then they were taken away for the good of the public and their own safety, of course. Of course, it's always about our health and safety. See, that's the provision that the government is operating under. Everything they're doing is for our health. Everything they're doing is for our safety. And there's no constitutional restrictions on government authority regarding safety. They can violate any constitutional provision, any constitutional restriction on the grounds of safety. How safe is it for someone to show up with a gun and put it in my face and say, "You're coming with us"? How safe am I when I'm taken to a quarantine camp where no one's allowed in or out? Folks, you can't get in and out of a fucking hospital if one of your relatives is sick with cerveza bug and their health is failing. You're not allowed to go in and visit them because of safety. So if you've got a quarantine camp full of unsafe people, how are you going to get legal representation? I mean, look what trouble they're having in Washington, D.C. for people who have committed the offense of trespassing on public property. You can't go in and see them. And if they see anybody, folks, like a lawyer, they get 2 weeks of quarantine while they're in prison. Not only are you in prison, now you're in prison to prison. Unbelievable. It is completely unbelievable, folks. It's happening right now. It is starting. Australia, get to your quarantine camps. We can't have free people running around making their own decisions. We, the government down in Australia, say, we know what's best for your health and your safety and the safety of the public. And so all other rights do not matter. All other rights are null and void because of health and safety. Meanwhile, no one's dying. Unbelievable. And these snowflakes won't give up, folks. Tucker Carlson did a special, and it was considered so bad, so truly dangerous, quote, truly dangerous. That's the quote. It is truly dangerous. 2 Fox News pundits quit because Tucker Carlson aired his truly dangerous special. Good. We need more left-wing woke idiots to quit. Too bad they're so easily replaced. that there'll be more woke idiots taking their jobs. Unbelievable. And I want to say this to the Democrats. Keep owning who you are. Own it. A former Democrat who, by the way, has a criminal record, former Democrat candidate for the U.S. House. That's right, folks. He decided he would make a little joke about Waukesha and all the people that were killed. He deleted his tweet, but it was saved. He says this: apparently this vehicle fired a rifle into the crowd and proceeded to mow people down at Waukesha Holiday Parade. Why not claim self-defense? You see, I want them to own it. Own it. You said it, own it, right? Take your shots at Rittenhouse. Take your shots at the rest of us, right? Unbelievable, folks. They're not going to go away. They're not going to quit. They're not going to quit, folks. I want to go over this a little bit. The people in Minneapolis, and this is what you should expect as Mad Max scenarios develop. People in Minneapolis are calling each other instead of the cops when they need help. They're getting some practice with SHTF, are they not? Remember this, and this is what I was told, and this is what I heard from around the nation, is you are on your own. When shit hits the fan and it gets nasty, you are on your own. That's how it goes, folks. That is exactly how it goes. You're on your own. You better be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, etc., etc. I tell you, let's do this. Let's get to the second half of the show, if we shall. I've got more to talk about. I want to get to you guys. Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Wow, I love that transition. Thank you again, Mr. T. And folks, Mr. T has been doing a lot of work for us, and he's helped us secure a special Prepared Mind membership with the Jim Jones Juice Kool-Aid Company. So I want to show you that, give you a little taste of that. And don't we all deserve a little taste of Jim Jones juice? Well, you bet, folks. I got to love that Jim Jones juice. Where can I get me a can of that? One a day will keep the doctor away. All right, let's move on. We got Bernard Shreve Jr. Hey, Bernard is back. Good to hear from you, man. He says, a question. Any news on smallpox? Nope. No news on smallpox. No news on monkeypox. That's not, those aren't the poxes you've been looking for. Nope, I haven't heard anything. I mean, not in a few days. Apparently, some monkeypox showed up in a lab here in the United States of America somewhere, some pharmaceutical lab. I don't know how it got there. It was kind of like a little blip, but it just didn't get full exposure. America, I guess, didn't react. Somehow, that was not a crisis that the politicians could put to good use. So, let's not talk about that anymore. Let's talk about some other important stuff. All right. All right. We got Tom R. checks in. He says, just a statement. American frontline doctors does work. I got my. He got his ivory Mactin and his H-blank-Q delivered to his house. Well, that is terrific. American frontline doctors, folks. At the preparedmind.club, preparedmind.club, our website where you can get all things prepping. Let's see, you can get food there. You can get Berkey water filter. You can get clothing there. You can get, including body armor, right? Food, shelter, clothing. Food, water, shelter, clothing. Medicine and a means of self-defense. You can get all of that. Medicine, folks, the stuff I'm not allowed to talk about. The stuff I'm not allowed to talk about, you can get there. You go see a real doctor, online doctor interview, and they'll make sure you're good. So it's good to hear you got your stuff, because, folks, the stuff we're talking about is supposed to, right? It is allowed. It is legal. It is allowed. It is legal. It is legal to use in the way that you and I would think of using it. Now, some hospitals don't allow it. Some doctors don't. Some states are trying to outlaw, right, stuff. It's quite an interesting thing that's happening. There's that German doctor who committed suicide. German doctor who committed suicide. Yep, jumped off the top of the hospital, killed himself. And I found a video he did. It was saved on a Russian YouTube channel by a Russian channel host. And the guy is talking in Germany about how there's a globalist dictatorship that's developing, and he doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. And then he just happens to jump off a building. I guess he was letting the cat out of the bag. All right, moving on. We got Bioxo77 says, Erie County, except Buffalo, New York, had emergency press conference at 2 o'clock today. Starting tomorrow at 6 a.m., mask mandate in effect for all public buildings, businesses, etc. Erie County has decided that for the health and safety of all, they're going to violate all of your rights. They're going to deny you the right to travel, the right to be where you want in public. They're going to deny you the right to do business as you see fit. Right? Let's see, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Yeah, fuck all that. Erie County knows better. Erie County can set the Constitution on fire, then piss on it, but not before it's absolutely destroyed. Way to go, Erie County, and thank you, Bioxo, for letting us know. Yeah, these extreme liberal Democrats out there, folks, it is not an extreme. It is entirely extreme to look at the Constitution and say it's suspended because there is something we want you to be afraid of, something we can't really prove, something that the tests don't show. And you could really die from it. Ungrateful Peasant checks in and says Australia is putting people into their cerveza bug camps. That's right. That's right. The hack hotels. They're putting them now. They denied them the ability to leave their home for anything but medical. Now, when they run out of food and toilet paper, they go to jail. That's right. These same people, folks, were locked up in their homes, quarantined. Now, quarantine makes sense, folks, when you have a real disease that is extremely dangerous, is extremely hard to treat, has a high mortality rate. I could see, I could see taking some steps if it was a real disease. But even then, I'm to the point now where I'm looking at government and saying, why should I believe you? Right? If I see people laying on the ground, coughing their guts out, blood squirting out of their eyes like they got Ebola, yeah, I'm probably going to turn around and walk the other direction. I don't need to wear a mask. I don't need anything. In fact, we have a new gas mask company, and I'm waiting for some of their products to show up. If I feel threatened enough that I need to wear a mask, I'm going to wear a real mask. I got word that there's a problem with the Chinese-made N95 masks, and knowing that, I won't be wearing one of those. But if I'm going to wear a mask, I'm going to wear one that works, folks. I'm going to get a nuclear, biological, chemical mask, something serious. Anyways, as soon as I get some new masks from this new company, I'll let you guys take a look at them. But yeah, do I want to wear a mask? Even the N95. Do I want to wear a $1 mask? If this thing is so fucking deadly, if it is so dangerous, why don't I wear a mask that costs more than $1? Really, folks. I mean, literally. Is your life only worth $1. 2 Owls checks in and says, why is Brandon selling all the strategic oil to China, and there's a fleet of Russian ships halfway here with 200 million gallons of natural gas? Okay. First of all, Brandon, meaning Joe Biden, let's go Brandon, selling all the strategic oil to China. I think, the whole thing is kind of convoluted and stupid. The natural gas, millions of natural gas gallons, I just can't explain anything. I mean, how can I make sense out of a man who can't make any sense? A man who craps his pants in front of the Pope, a man who crop dusts the entire royal family, the man who gets lost leaving the podium trying to get back into the White House. How can I make sense of a man who shuts down the Keystone Pipeline, which was to deliver oil, energy from Canada all the way down into the refineries in Texas? And by the way, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, thought we were selling our oil to Canada. That's how fucking stupid she is. But back to Brandon, Joe Biden. How can I explain that? That's what he did on day one, shutting as much of our industry down. How can I make sense out of his administration nominees who want to, quote, bankrupt oil, gas, and coal industry in this country? That's jobs. Folks, energy is what makes the world work. Steve St. Angelo did an hour-and-a-half interview with a financial guy just the other night. I watched or listened to it. It's an hour and a half talking about energy, the economy, our standard of living. You got to have energy for it. So yeah, what's going on with China and Russia and us? Why are our fuel prices going through the roof? Whatever Joe Biden is doing, I can't make any sense out of it except to say, I see where this is leading, and it is higher energy prices for you and me. That includes electricity, folks. Electricity is energy. Electricity is energy. Oregon Patriot checks in, and he says, in addition to sprouts, I have set up a hydroponics box for under $20. Greens, small tomatoes, herbs on demand. This is something that I've recently taken up. Clearwater Chris, Crispy Bacon, is experimenting with different techniques, trying to find ways to grow cheap, quick, effective, nutritious green stuff. So yeah, it's great, folks. And I'm glad this came up. I'm glad it made it in my life. After all these years of prepping, I've looked at, folks, I've got herb garden stuff. I've got lots of heritage seeds for other things, but it's like, man, what if I don't have time for all of it? What if people are overrunning the property? I won't have time. Will I have time to water and cultivate a garden? I need the simplest, most effective, nutritious, easiest garden, right? And that's these sprouts, these sprout gardens. So it's cool, Oregon Patriot, that you have, and you're working with it too. You can consider it hydroponics. It's just very simple, right? It's very simple, and you get your nutrition, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, right? Food for human beings is vegetable and animal. It's the way it goes, folks. And I do not consider soy protein to be animal. It is not protein. I mean, there's protein in rice. You bet. There's protein in potatoes. There's protein all over the place, but it's not animal protein, folks. We're omnivorous. Our bodies are designed to take animal proteins, disassemble them, send them around, and use them to build our animal muscles. That's what they're there for, right? So it's incredible. Okay, here we go. Let us continue. Gary says the left, meaning the Marxist social fascists, that's the left. They're using Marxist techniques, socialist ideas to push their fascist money-making ideas. And that money-making isn't for me and you. He says the left is doing what they want, when they want, how they want, and no one is held accountable. Yeah, you ain't fucking kidding, man. They are doing anything they want, and they're not held accountable. Why not? Who is responsible for holding the political leftists accountable? Well, that would be law enforcement, folks. The Department of Justice. Oh, that's Attorney General Merrick Garland, or Garlic Breath, or whatever the fuck his name is. Right? Attorney General, Department of Justice, the FBI, anyone? They're arresting parents around this country, folks, right now. They're arresting parents. They're harassing parents. The FBI. They have designated parents. You have children, you're a domestic terrorist. What? Meanwhile, you have Hunter Biden on film with hookers snorting cocaine off their asses and smoking a crack pipe, rolling a doob, and what, having a shower with his niece or something? I mean, what the fuck is that about? They've got laptops with it, and he's fine. Don't mess with Hunter Biden, but go after parents for standing up for their children. You bet, folks. No one is held accountable. And so what confidence level do you have that this country is being properly administered? That we're truly free? Folks, a free people is more than just being able to walk down to the corner, get a pack of smokes at your 7-Eleven. Right? That is not a free country. Freedom requires justice for everyone. It requires an equal, not an equitable, but an equal application of the law. And it has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with position of power. Those who are in power should be held to the same standard. And those in politics who have been granted the public's trust should be held to the highest standard because they exercise authority. They don't have rights, folks. They exercise authority. When someone says the government doesn't have the right, I'm like, you bet they don't have the right, but they certainly have some authority, don't they? Notice that gun pointing at you? All right. Anyways, thank you, Ungrateful Peasant. Oh, nope. This is an Ungrateful Peasant says, they want us to be serfs or dead. Better put your big boy pants on if you want to preserve whatever you have left. Yep, I got my big boy pants on. I put my pants on. You bet I did. Folks, it is coming. That time is going to come, right? They want us to be serfs or peasants or dead. Let me read you a little good stuff that I saved up for you. Okay? I talked about it earlier about Germany. Right? The health minister there kind of basically hinted at a Jim Jones juice mandate because, you know, the Führer Merkel says there's a highly dramatic situation developing. And so essentially the German health minister said, by the end of winter, you're either going to be vaxxed, cured, or dead. Well, we know what the vax is. What is the cure? What do you mean cured? Cured of what? So you're going to be vaxxed or dead. I mean, how do you prove that you've been cured from having cerveza bug? I don't know. I'm just asking a question. How do you prove it? I am getting reports from different parts of the nation that nurses and nurse practitioners and other healthcare officials, or I'm sorry, healthcare practitioners, are giving Jim Jones juice to people when they're unconscious, when they don't realize it. They're switching up vials. They're playing an awful number of games. It's happening right now in this country, and it's going to become a bigger deal, folks. And the political leftists, as we just described them, Marxists, socialist, fascists, they want us vaxxed, cured, or dead. You know, how can a government say that about its people? How can it mandate anything unless you are a serf? That's right, a peasant. And we've been talking about that for a number of years. I heard about it back in the early 2000s, that part of this drive was to create a neo-feudal state. That is, no longer are you free to travel. No longer are you free to make your own decisions. Right? You belong to the laird of whatever land you live on, and you will do what that laird says, or lord, if you will, the landlord. Who is Lord of the land? Well, it used to be we the people. No longer. You are no longer the king of your own castle. If the Democrats win this, you're no longer the king of the castle. You no longer have rights. You have mere privileges that can be taken away. They don't like the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted, because that just convinced every redneck, every hillbilly, every swamp neck, right? Swamp buster, swamp billy. I don't know what you call people in the swamps. Bayou billies. There we go. They're like, okay, then. If they come around here, it's hunting season. If they're violating the law, they're very upset. That's why the left lost their shit. And they accuse Kyle Rittenhouse of being all kinds of sort of things that he ain't. Right? Unbelievable what's going on. We got a question from BMW 9mm. He says, any thoughts on the supply chain being broken in Western Canada because of major flooding in that area? Oh, yeah, I haven't talked about this much. I know we have a lot of great subscribers up there in the Great White North, Canada. Vancouver has suffered tremendously. There's tremendous damage to the roads and infrastructure because of the atmospheric river that just dumped a ton of water all over Western Canada. These are my thoughts, and I'm not making light. If you're prepared, you would be okay. You won't be happy. You may not be as comfortable as you like. You may have to work your ass off to stay alive. This is what being prepared is about, folks. It is not just for stupid things Joe Biden does, or just stupid shit that happens in Illinois or Minneapolis or New York City or Atlanta. It's not just for that. It's for anything that goes wrong. Once you're prepared, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, once you're prepared, you're good for everything. Everything, and including this. And this is terrible. And the thing is that up in Canada, folks, it's fucking cold up there. I mean, it's all of Canada is north of the United States of America, with the exception of Alaska. And wow, it's cold. So you should be prepared if you're living in a cold environment. When I lived up in extreme Northern California, I always kind of marveled at how, well, you know, I moved from Sacramento just a few more degrees in latitude to the north, a little change in my latitude. It was like, man, the sun is so much lower in the winter. It's crazy. Yeah, Canada's way the hell up there. I mean, talk about long days in the summer and long nights in the winter. You better be prepared. Major flooding, there's a prep for that. All right, let's move on if we shall. Wow. We got Chester Wolf, the Griffin, and thank you again for your participation last night at the zoo, Chester Wolf. We had a great talk, great presentation during Sunday Night Live. Folks, the world is waking up. Are you prepared? The world is waking up. Are you helping others wake up? All right, let's get to Chester Wolf. He says the statement that they're really pushing this one world order. I got a notification today saying my Uber Eats pass my Uber Eats pass them over pass have become one. Okay. So apparently there's an Uber Eats and a pass them over have become one. Uber and Lyft have joined the metaverse. Thoughts? Everything is being unified. You bet. This has been happening for years. They're gonna, right? The little companies get eaten by the big companies. Little tech gets bought out by big tech. You got a good idea, someone's gonna buy it and you. Right now, money changes hand. Everything goes on, but yeah, I mean, Google owns YouTube. Google owns what? Everything they can buy up, Google owns. Apple, same story. They're buying up all they can. And they are all coordinating and cooperating to make everything seamless. See, they love to use words like that, seamless. And it's going to be the metaverse. It's going to be centralized and controlled. Everything. Your social status is going to go into your criminal record, is going to go into your credit score. They want to control you. They want to know who you are. How free do you want to be? I'd like to be 100% free, folks. But it's hard to find that. But I'll be as free as possible. Thank you very much, Chester Wolf. Yeah, the Great Reset is going to bring about the Novus Ordo Seclorum, new order of the ages, new secular order of the ages, if you will, the New World Order. They're still pushing for it. But before you can have that, you have to have a great reset. You got to destroy all the old, make chaos. You got all the pieces and parts, right? You made chaos, and then you make order out of chaos. That's the New World Order, order out of chaos. Question for John from Tom R. He says, can we get some Jim Jones juice t-shirts in the shop? I tell you what, we probably can. Let's do this. I'm going to talk to Mr. T, and I'll say, can you get me some graphics? I don't want to just grab some screenshots. I want some good high-quality graphics. And then if everyone is really nice to Jolene, she can send them over to the t-shirt making shop, and then they can be purchased. Maybe you can get your, get your Jim Jones juice shirts. You bet, because he did a great job coming up with names for the variety of different soda pops under the Jim Jones juice label. He did a great job coming up with stuff there to sarcastically, to satirically point out exactly how yummy it is. But I'll do that. Yeah, definitely, Tom, we can do that. Yeah, Tom R. I'll talk to Tim, Tom, and then we'll get Jim in on this as well. He's got a good sense of humor, and we'll see what he has to say. Latin American Preparedness checks in, says the entire Kyle Rittenhouse situation is being politicized. The Department of Justice is considering federal charges against him. The establishment is trying to demonize self-defense. What suggestion have you for Kyle? My suggestion for Kyle is go to the freest state possible. That is no guarantee to keep the federal agencies from wanting to press charges. Now, as a free human being in the United States of America, you don't have to tell anyone where you're at. He can wear a disguise. He can leave his house in the middle of the night, sneak around a few alleys, get in a car, and go someplace, and no one has to know where he's at. He can go undercover completely. Or he can go out in front of the world and the cameras and say, hey, look, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm a free man. I was acquitted. You see, it's all up to what he wants to do. How does he want to fight them? Has he had enough of their horseshit? Probably. But when it comes to the federal, what federal charges is he going to be charged with? Human rights violations? Hate crimes? I don't know what hate crimes he committed. It looked to me, if he was acting in self-defense, that the crimes were going to be perpetrated against him. So that is where we're at with that. Yeah, there's no racism involved in this. Kyle Rittenhouse was in that town, has been demonstrated very well in court. It was demonstrated very well in court that he was there to clean up graffiti, to protect businesses, to help people, to offer medical attention to people, and that the people that he shot were trying to kill him. It is incredible. Look, I don't wish this on Kyle, right? This is his role. We all have a role to play in this, folks. That's kind of a fact. We all have a role to play in this drama called life. Kyle has played a very important role, a very painful. He's paid a big price. A year of his life, he will forever be known as the Kenosha killer to the left. Right? He'll be known as the Kenosha kid to those who like him. That he saved a bunch of people. Let's see. One of them was a sex offender. One of them beat his girlfriend. They're all criminals. The people he shot. And two of them are dead, so they're not going to commit any more criminal acts now, are they? Because he had his trial, Americans have now learned that they can defend themselves. A lot of people who watched that trial got a good education. The people who split off and went over here to the political left, those that are too dumb to know they're dumb, they'll never learn a fucking thing. And that's fine. They want to wallow in ignorance and stupidity and self-righteous lunacy. Can't stop them, right? But when they come out of their corner, spouting their stupidity, they're going to find that the other Americans have woken up, and we're recognizing that we have rights. We're recognizing that freedom matters most. And again, I'll say this. I criticized the hell out of President Trump back in 2016 on this program because I kept saying, why isn't he talking about freedom? Why isn't liberty being discussed? Why are they talking about entitlements and spending money in this political campaign? Well, by the end of his campaign, or by the end of his presidential term, President Trump was talking about freedom. You bet, because without freedom, nothing else matters. We need to be free first, and prosperity will follow. You can't be immoral to prosperity. That's a lie. Communism is immoral, and that's why it never is prosperous. Folks, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. I recommend doing it. We'll see if we can get you some Jim Jones t-shirts. There's also a number of t-shirts, and I think they're available on the R Syndicate and quite possibly on the Prepared Mind YouTube merchandising. If you look around your screen, you might see some merchandising there, cups, shirts, etc. I also want the Kyle Rittenhouse Kenosha hat trick shirt on there. I'd like to see fuck around and find out with Kyle Rittenhouse. There ought to be some great merchandise out there. But yeah, we also need Jim Jones juice. Something big, something colorful, right? Splashed all over his shirt. Get your juice, right? Having zombies drinking that shit. Oh, that'll make some heads turn if you wear a Jim Jones juice down the street. People ask you, what is Jim Jones juice? And you go, hey, it's this stuff. And I can't even say the word because, then I might get in trouble. But you can tell them, oh, Jim Jones juice. That is our way of describing the stuff that you don't want, right? Anyways, let us move on. That's right, move on into our day. We're done with the Prepared Mind Network for now, folks, but we will be back. And not in the Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of way, but in the intelligent thinking American way. Folks, I love you all. Semper Fi. Godspeed. And are you prepared?